All right, welcome back. Welcome back for the afternoon session. I want to apologize to everyone who was on the morning session. I know at the very end there we lost volume. The microphone, for whatever reason, dropped off of the OBS program. I had to reinstall it after the stream ended, and yeah, we're back in business. So I hope everyone can hear me. Um, hopefully, I get some confirmations in just a moment that you can hear me. But I'm just going to assume that everything's working. I did test it out. So just before the lunch hour came and before we got off, we were in a heavy consolidation range from like 10:45-ish all the way until lunch. So we can see the range we were in. It was pretty much from 17:050 down to 17:030-ish because we didn't really touch the new day opening gap, which is this yellow shaded area towards the bottom of the screen. We just essentially went from here to here, back up, back down, back up, and that's right around where we finished. Because I think I jumped off at somewhere around 11:55, 56, somewhere in here. But we see that what price did actually is it came down into this fair value gap, and then it bought out of that up to this key level that we were looking for. Let's extend these fair value gaps over just to see if they're still relevant. Okay. All right, so this one held all the way until just 5 minutes before we got started for this afternoon. It was this key level here. So we're going to remove that one, but I'm going to extend the two that's above since they're still in. Okay, I thought they were in play. Okay, so just before the hour, price action went and took all three of those. So now the only thing that's really remaining in our way, there's still a few more here that I didn't mark up. So let me go ahead and put those back into play. Oh, no, that's the one I just deleted. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so it's really just this one up top, the one that really sent price down to begin with at 10:45. So this is where price failed to make a new high, and then we saw lower prices afterwards and then consolidation. So I'm just going to extend this one all the way across so we know when we get close to it. Let's move our short and long tool over. Okay, so we have our area marked up there. We did see over the lunch hour right at 12:30, price came down, hit the new day opening gap. We saw a nice move after it rejected that area. We can see, let me delete this, and we can see that price has hit that area a couple times already today. So we saw it right at just after 10 o'clock. It made three attempts to break lower. Didn't happen. And also this morning, I believe. Yeah, we saw it support this morning, then we saw it break through, become resistance, and then price broke down during London until it was reclaimed right at 10 o'clock when news was released. So heading into the afternoon, now that we're in the afternoon session, we know that the new day opening gap has been support for price ever since the 10 o'clock news session. But we also have not broken this resistance level up top, which is what sent price down after reaching a high this morning. Okay, let me peek over and see what the other indices and the dollar did during the lunch hour. All right, so the dollar made some progress upwards, but it closed lower than it opened. Let's see the Dow, which was lagging behind all morning, whereas the S&P and Nasdaq made highs in 9 and 10 o'clock hour. The Dow did not. The Dow didn't do that until the 11 o'clock hour, and so during 12 o'clock it was still buying, making new highs. We saw that also at the S&P. So the S&P and Dow made new highs during the lunch hour. We didn't get that from Nasdaq, and the dollar is different. We're expecting the dollar to move in the opposite direction. Looking at higher time frames, we're still bullish, and there's no reason not to be bullish at this moment. So we're expecting the dollar to put in lower values over time, and then we're expecting the commodities to put in higher values. So with that said, let's start monitoring price to see when we get breaks of these levels, and see if we can get a scalp or something else this afternoon. I do want to let everyone know that I will have a hard stop at 3 o'clock today. Normally we go until 4, but I do have something I need to take care of. So at 3 o'clock we will be closing the live stream. But that still gives us 2 hours. Still gives us 2 hours to potentially find a setup that we like and to get a trade in this afternoon. All right. Okay, well, we have a little moment here, and price is still inside of this sort of internal range here. I need to step away for just one moment. Just one moment. Be back in 60 seconds. All right, I'm back. Let's see where price is. Okay, still inside of the range. There's a fair value gap was just created, traded into it. Let's see if we can now push for higher prices out of it. They mark that up for anyone not familiar with fair value gaps. Okay. Okay, so we did get a push out of the fair value gap and a close above. What we want to see now is the price to continue to remain above the fair value gap. We want to see the temporary highs that were placed just a few candles ago. We want to see those taken. And we want to see price move towards swing highs from previous price legs. So in this case, it would be 17,064. This swing high here, we want to see price move above and trade and close above actually. Okay, that's a good sign. If we can't ease into trading today. Okay, just swept a low. Let's see if that holds price, and that's all that this objective was to go sweep a low, but then return to higher prices. Hey, not yet. Okay, so that 30% entry did not work out for us. I took that entry thinking that we could still scalp the 5-point profit without having to take out this barrier from earlier that's keeping price lower. So I thought it would make that run up. Let's see if we can try it at 50%. Okay, let's now remove risk. Already lost the trade just a second ago trying to take it from the 30% area. So just want to make sure there's not two in a row from the same area. But it's okay if price peels all the way back on me and it stops me out. It'll be a break even. And then I won't take another one in this area. I'll look for another setup once price moves above that fair value gap. Okay. So we got stopped out there at break even. So not a win, not a loss, but it's fine. Okay, so now we'll just continue to monitor price while it's in this range here, and we'll wait. We'll wait for it to break out, close above, and create a new setup in a different area. Yep. You can see we have it marked up over here, so it's the same exact area, which is about 3 hours later or 2 hours later. Oh, nope, I was right. 3 hours later, it's back in the same area. So let's wait until we break above this fair value gap up at 17,068, and let's look for another setup above. But until then, while price wants to continue to just play back and forth, we'll let it do that without our participation. Okay, Chris, is it still too low? You still can't hear me? I tested it during lunch. I'm making a video and everything was fine. If you still can't hear me, I'm going to have to probably drop the feed and try to come back because I'm not sure what's happening. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we had an issue earlier on the morning towards the end. For whatever reason, OBS just deleted my mic as a source. I had to reinstall it. But luckily, the presets were already still there. And I tested it and everything seemed to work. So, sweet. Awesome. All right. So yeah, so we're waiting for price to get out of this little rut that it's in, break above this fair value gap, and then we can start trading above 17,070. Once we get in that range, then we can start looking for something else. Otherwise, I would suggest staying out because price is just ranging and not looking like it's trying to make a move. Yep. Sorry about that, Chris. Yeah, we're gonna let's see if we can't do something better the next couple hours and get you feeling better about your trading day. Yeah, but this morning I didn't really see anything that I liked, so I didn't have a trade this morning. I just tried a few minutes ago on one contract, and that didn't work out. So I'm not gonna force anything. Yeah, yeah. Next time, what you might want to do is when you have a really good day like that, the following day, cut your risk in half just to make sure you don't give the market back everything you took the day before. Either cut your risk in half or only trade one of your accounts and preserve the other. Okay, let's give price another 10 minutes or so. A lot of times 130 will provide some relief, and we'll see a breakout at that time. So in about another 7 or 8 minutes, hopefully we see price react differently than it has the first half hour. Yep. All right, Chuck. Yeah, you're in the same boat. Yeah, let's see if we can't have a good session today. So you guys can hit the ground running for getting ready for tomorrow. And yep, you're absolutely right. It's December. December's not notorious for being the best trading month. You get a lot of people, including bankers and the big institutions, taking off the second half of the month. Or if they've made their money for the year, then they're not even participating. So just keep that in mind that we're getting close to the holiday. We're going to have an abbreviated week next week and the following because of the Monday holidays. So yeah, just keep that in mind, and let's still try to make some wins, but let's not over risk. Yeah, Chris, I've been there so many times where I see price going against me, and I think, oh, okay, no, it was just a fake out, and then I look for another entry, and then price continues to go against me, and then before I know it, I'm at my maximum daily loss. That's where I was probably 7 8 months ago, and so it was tough for me to overcome too. Um, yeah, I don't know. It was tough. I'm just going to leave it at that. It was difficult, and I was able to somehow break through, um, and really feel comfortable taking shorts because I've always been kind of biased to taking longs. But you'll get there. Don't worry. All right. So that last entry that I made at the 50% mark, and I don't know if you remember, but I got out at break even. If I had stayed in, it did deliver profit here, and the second time here. It was just after taking a loss in the exact same range. I didn't want to take a second loss, so my risk tolerance was lower. Um, but I just wanted to point that out that it did deliver. That's a good idea, Chris. I've heard that advice from others as well. That when your mind is preoccupied and you're busy, or you know, you have family things going on and you're just thinking about something else, to take the trading day off. Or if you're going to sit and watch the charts, make sure you're not hitting the button. Just stay out of any trade and just, you know, watch the charts, maybe just to get your mind off of the things that are troubling you in your life, but definitely not stay away from trading that day, because you need to have a clear focus when you do that. Danny, I do not trade options. I'm not familiar with the strategy behind trading options, so I've never done it. Hmm. Okay, we're getting close to 11:30. I'm sorry, 1:30. So let's see if we do get something, some type of reaction now that takes us either higher or lower. I may have a preference for higher prices, but at this point, I don't really care. I just wanted to leave this zone and give us something to look at. If we do put in higher prices, let's pay attention to 17,090 or 093 specifically. We have a weekly fair value gap, so that's a very high time frame. Um, from the all-time highs back in January of 2022. When price fell from those all-time highs, it created this weekly fair value gap, which we're now in the middle of, where we're close to the center. The center line is at 17,093. So let's be aware of what's going on when we get up to that level, assuming we do get to that level in another 25 points or so. Yeah, if you had millions, now you probably need a few 100 million, but you're right. You could control the trend. Okay, let's drop this. Just sort of line up where we are. and inside of this zone here. Okay, so we did see a retracement into the 60% area, actually high 60s, probably 65%. And now we see it pushing towards the high that was made a few minutes ago. Let me extend this fair value gap so we can see when it breaks through. Let me just throw the hourly up so we can take a peek at where price is right now. As far as where it was during the London session. And then we made the run up during the opening bell as well as the 10 o'clock news. Okay, let me just put a Fibonacci on this range. Okay, during lunch, we saw it break down and just barely get into discount. Let me make that a little larger so everyone can see. So we have this as 50% on the retracement. Let's make it a little larger. Okay, there we go. Okay. And we can see that price came just below it by 1 or 2 ticks to 50% and then bought out of that area. So just before lunch, I was calling this area as where it probably wanted to go. I think Ennis, who was on the morning session, also mentioned that. And I didn't follow up and let everyone know that that's what actually occurred. So that's a good sign. That's really a good sign if we're going to seek bullish prices this afternoon, is that it does trade to discount. And once it hits discount, it starts to show higher prices. We can see that by this big wick. So now we're on the 15 minutes. So you got a big rejection coming off the new day opening gap. Also where it hit the 50% retracement. And so let's now see if we can't make a new high, take out the morning high. I would say that would be our objective for the afternoon, just to at least clear the morning high. After that, I really don't have a strong opinion as to where price may go, other than up to that 50% of the fair value gap, which is 17,090 that I just mentioned a few minutes ago. Let's get back down to the lower time frame. So first we're looking for this high to be taken, so 0.73. And then we're looking for another 20-point push up to the midpoint of that fair value gap on the weekly, which takes us up to 17,093. Do I have a favorite month? No, not really. I've only been trading now for February will make 3 years. So I've seen each time period a couple times, but as of right now, I don't really have a favorite month. Okay, so far we didn't get a big push and taking out liquidity like I thought we would get at 130. Um, so we'll keep watching and see if price is just a slightly delayed. But I was really expecting 130 to provide a change in momentum. Maybe that's what we'll get at 2 o'clock. Just got to be a little more patient. That's all. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so now we see price pushing downwards. It's taken out this entire area. We're going to remain bullish until we close below this line down at 17,047. And that's if we get down there. But for now, we're still bullish. We're just putting in lower prices. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's looking crazy, but it's definitely not going in the direction we want it to. And it's also not providing us with any comfort in taking an entry. It's just a lot of sitting around and waiting. So maybe this is just going to be one of those hours where, okay, that was aggressive. So, all right. So now we're no longer bullish. I'm not going to say we're bearish either. I think now it's important that we just take a step back and wait to see what price delivers next. Okay, I think what we should do now is let's pay attention to the 5 minute. To your lower left, you'll see there's a fair value gap it's entering into now. Let me draw it so it'll show up on the 30-second. Okay. So now we want to see if price can remain above the 50% here. Even if it dips below, if the candle closes above, we'll still see that as a good sign. Okay, so we're back down to the midnight open. With that being said, that's at least to around the 50% of the latest price leg. Let me just map that out. Yep, we just passed 50%. So now if price wants to return bullish, this is a good opportunity for that to happen. But we want to remain nimble just in case bearish prices continue. And then we want to start looking for short setups. But until that happens, let's just wait for the next few candles to close and let's see if we do get a big push back up and if at least a closure above this fair value gap. We did get a closure below, so I should have deleted it, but it is a 5 minute level and the 5 minute candle closes in 38 seconds. So not this candle, but the next 30-second candle, we want to see it close at least above the 50% line. Okay, so we did get a closure above. So at least on the higher time frame, i.e. the 5 minute, we're still looking bullish. We got a rejection out of the fair value gap. And so now let's see if on the lower time frame it continues to hold. $17,035. Okay. Okay, so that's this little area right here. All right, so if we do find lower prices here, the scalping strategy would look like this. So we start with the new trend of lower prices being bearish. Let me delete this. Then we would have this swing high traded above. And then if we can get a breakdown in price and get new lows, then this would become the manipulation leg. And we just trade back into 30% and down. Right. So it's make a low, sweep a high, make a new low down at the midnight open, trade back into 30% right here at 17,044, and then push down for 5 points, which is around this area. The only problem I potentially see is this midnight open that's right here. It's right at the low. So once price breaks below it, in order to enter the trade, it needs to come back above, tap you in, and then break below to deliver a profit. So that's the only issue with this trade is I don't like having that midnight open in the center. Okay, so yesterday's news and 4 hours ago. Okay. All right, Jeffrey, almost at your first TP that you called out. 3 or 4 points away. All right, let's see where we are with that scalp I was talking about. That I said I didn't want it because of how it straddled the the midnight open. So this black candle would have been the entry at 30%. And now would have been profit delivered. So that trade would have worked out for anyone who wanted it and took it. Oops. I'll get it. All right, I'll draw another one. Just for kicks, did anyone take the scalp? Okay, I'll mark up the next swing high so we can see when that happens. I'm doing good. Welcome, Best Relaxing Music. Welcome back. If we get a closure below the previous candle's high, I'll move down the swing high marker. All right. So now the swing high is here, the closest one to where price is. Okay, we got a break of a low. And still need a swing high to be broken prior to looking for the next setup. There you go, Jeffrey. Good job. Good call. Okay, let me pop over to the 15-minute chart just to show you something really quickly. So here was a 15-minute fair value gap that has been revisited several times. And we just entered again. So let's just pay attention. The last few times it's had impulsive moves out. So let's just make sure we understand where we are in price action. And the bottom of this fair value gap is at the bottom of the new day opening gap. So we'll just remember that part. So from where we are until the new day opening gap, we could see a bullish reaction. Yeah. Yeah, it could be. Price has been kind of weird this morning, so I'm not really sure if if that's going to be the low, and it just wanted to sweep the lunchtime activity and then continue moving higher. Yep, 17,022 would be the lunchtime low, which would be just outside of this range, just by a hair, so just by a couple points maybe. And actually, that level was the 50% retracement from the opening range and the 10 o'clock news. So it ran from like about 9:30 to 10:30. That entire range, 50% retracement, is this old 22 level. Oh, for at least last 3 days. Yeah. Yeah, price is running into areas that it hadn't seen since January, the first couple of weeks of 2022. So it's been 2 years since price was up in this area, and that's why we're seeing some issues here. I couldn't imagine price being away for 2 years, and then as soon as it got here, it just ran through it. And especially with it being the end of the year as well, this is not surprising that we're getting price stalling. I mean, it's still making higher prices. It's just it's not the way that we anticipated it, but we'll adjust. But either way, definitely good trade. Let's adjust this down. Hmm. But no, this is good. This is what I want to see. I want to see a whole group of traders and different style of traders too, so we all can learn from each other. All right, so relative equal highs now. Let's see if this low is now the next pool of liquidity. Internal range sweep. Okay, we just saw that. Let's now see what the reaction is after that has occurred. Will it race back to make higher values, or will we continue lower to the new day opening gap and potentially the lunchtime low? Okay, pushing right through that fair value gap, it looks. Now at the new day opening gap, 50%. Let me peel this back so we can see it. Okay. Remember, lunchtime low is 17,022 and a quarter. All right, lunch lows are in jeopardy now. Almost there. There we go. Done. Lunch lows have been taken. And it's 2:04. So right at 2 o'clock is when everything happened. All right, I'm going to delete this 15-minute fair value gap. It's still on the 15-minute chart, but for the 30-second, just want to move it out of the way so we're not focused on that right now. Okay, we're still in that same range from it was still in the same range from the opening range that we had at 9:30 this morning. So while we saw lunchtime run to exactly 50% and then buy out of that, we've now seen those lunchtime lows swept. So now we're pushing towards, if we push lower, then we're looking at a retracement of 60 to 70%, maybe one of those sweet spots, optimal trade entry potential. All right. Best relaxing music. See you the next time. Take care. Okay, let's remove some of these lines. We don't need them anymore. We still have a new day opening gap, which is holding price. And then here we have the midnight open, which is also holding price. And this is our zone for right now. TI, welcome. Welcome to the channel. Okay, so we basically didn't get a closure below the new day opening gap. We did a slight couple ticks over here, but we can see that it wanted to either remain inside or above. So for right now, it looks like it doesn't want to stay below the new day opening gap. But we're not in a position to take to take any trades now. So we just want to continue to watch and see what price does next. Yep. So far at 12:30 was the last time we returned here, and there was a big bullish reaction from 0.25 up to 0.65. So we got about 40 points the last time price intersected this area. Let's see where it goes this time. Okay, this is the fair value gap it's currently sitting inside of. Oh man, sorry to hear that, Chris. Wow, so you must have shorted during like that consolidation period somewhere in here. Said it's 60, so maybe you shorted here, it ran up and then dropped out. Yeah, I get it. You had a 5-point stop loss. Or did you short over here at 60? Yeah, that would have made more sense for you to short here, put a stop loss right here, have it run your stop, and then down. Yeah, those things happen. Good news is it was only a 5-point. You got stopped out after only 5 points, so it's only $100 per contract. Hopefully, you didn't lose too much compared to the amount of equity you have. All right, yeah, let's look forward to that green day tomorrow. We'll cross our fingers. I wore a green shirt today. That didn't really help us any. But I was trying to get into the holiday spirit. But we'll give it a go tomorrow. Thanks for joining again, Chris. Man, always good to hear from you. Okay, we're rounding out the first quarter of the hour. And what we've seen since 2 o'clock is we've seen price trade below the midnight open, retest it a couple times, and then trade down to the new day opening gap. Now we're about 50% between the new day opening gap, excuse me, and the midnight open, and it's just kind of resting in this fair value gap for now. Now let's just see what we have tomorrow. So tomorrow we have news. Okay, so only news at 8:30, even though there's quite a bit of news. There's the quarter over quarter GDP. There's unemployment claims coming. Also the GDP price index and the Philly Fed manufacturing index. All four of those will be released at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Okay. These have both been traded through. To and through. Let's see this last one, if it's still active. And it is. It's extremely small. Okay, good break through those equal highs. See if we can get a push. Thank you, Jeffrey, for reminding Chris to hit the like button before he left. I appreciate that. Yep, we got a decent amount of likes now. But we did yesterday Jeffrey, thanks for your effort. We did get the most of any video. I think we were up to 20 or 21 or so. So that I'm really happy about. Hopefully that helped YouTube find us a few more traders to join the channel. I know today's conditions haven't been ideal, so maybe new people in the channel weren't very inspired or didn't have as good of experience as they normally would have had. But I hope anyone who's new to the channel can see that we're a group of traders. It's a good energy in the room. It's pretty chill, and I think it's a good trading environment. So hopefully anyone visiting would want to hang around and stay for a while. So hopefully people in the room are liking the video and also subscribing to the channel. Okay, we got a breakdown below the new day opening gap. And it looks like it's coming down with a lot of speed and power. Similar to what it did before, except it got stalled and then it just kind of bought out a little bit. And then here we are within a couple candles. We're back down here. All right, let's mark out this low so we know when we've pierced through it. We now have a significant closure below the new day opening gap, and the next candle so far in the first half hasn't jumped back into range. So we may actually get further push downwards and see a continuation of bearish momentum, and we may start looking for a short. Okay, another closure below. Now we got a sweep of the afternoon low. So lunchtime lows have been swept, afternoon lows have been swept. Let's see if we continue to see lower prices or if this is what it needed to finally push upwards. Okay, but since we do have a new low, what I want to do now is to point out where our closest swing high is, just in case we get a short setup that we can take for the scalp. Remove this one. See if we get a rejection off of the new day opening gap. It's at the 50% now. And so far, it looks like their price is going to reject that level. Okay, now this is our closest swing high to where price is right now. Okay, let's continue to adjust the swing high. Okay, I think price is going to put in a new low, which it has, which is good. Now we want to see it put in a new swing high so we can adjust this downwards and have that swept, because it may be over the new day opening gap. It may not want to touch that anymore. Hmm. Yeah, I would imagine the next target below where we are now is around 17,000 even. Let's see if we can't get a setup that we can take a short that gets us down there. Okay, just hit 62% retracement. Okay, thank you, mathematical genius. Yep. I was monitoring it earlier, and I noticed that the lunchtime went and hit 50%, and then bought up, and then I saw once we dipped below lunchtime, I knew we were somewhere in that range. Yep, and then 70% is right down at right around 17,000 even. So that's kind of where I anticipate price going to. Not saying that's where it's going to stop, but I do anticipate it making it to that level. 16,925. Oh wow. Okay, I see why you have that level. All right. Yep. No, but actually I'm looking at the 4 hour. We have equal lows or relative equal lows right at 19,961. So that could also be a level that it's looking for. Although that may at that time frame and shift us back being bearish, which I don't know if it wants to do that or not. But that's down at 19,962. Right. So still haven't found a scalping setup. We haven't had a swing high taken yet. And since this one was formed inside of the new day opening gap, we see just uh, what 10 consecutive bearish candles. So we haven't formed a swing high yet. We'll need to form one, sweep it, and then make lower prices. I was thinking that we could do that and ride it down to 17,000 even, but it looks like it may actually get there before creating a swing high. But if there's anyone who's been in short since this run began, you're over 50 points now, which is an excellent trade. So congratulations on making that move. All right, so we're a couple points away from where I thought we would get to on this move down. Let's see. Let's go to the 5-minute and see where our next play may be. Yep. So there's a fair value gap that it's in right now. But a lot of this is the move up from 930. So now we're coming down to balance that price. But essentially what we have is all the momentum from today. Nearly all of it is gone. The 830 open is at 16,978. That would take us back to essentially the lows of the day. What a day, what a day, what a day. That's a good point. It may have came back and got everyone from yesterday who thought they missed out on longs and they wanted to jump in. It turned around on them. Okay, so this low that we have is on the 15-minute. That is the low of the fair value gap that it's in, which is 16,988. That's the low that was put in. So let's see if we can continue lower or if that's it. We do have this dotted line where I have my cursor now, so it's really hard to see at 16,981. That's the 830 open. And also within 10 points of the low of the day. Alrighty. Finally, we have a swing high that's been broken. Alrighty. All right, so we saw price run right through the 830 open. Yep. Right into this cluster of, if you're looking at the bottom left-hand corner, my 5-minute chart, right into this cluster of lows between basically 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock. So just this sort of consolidation zone. You can see we're right there. We've achieved 72.75 as a low, and the low of the day is 62.25. So we're within 10 points of the low of the day. We got Jeffrey over there with diamond hands still holding. Anybody other than Jeffrey in on a short? Hmm. All right, I was going to create a limit order for any type of retracement up here to then short down, but price is now up and running, so I'm not going to create that limit. But what I am going to do is to shift our swing high down so we can see the next time a swing high is taken. Yeah, me too, Chuck. I wish I was in on a short too. Yeah, good one, Dustin. Yeah, I'd been monitoring the dollar all day, thinking the dollar would go up based on the news that came out at 10 o'clock, and it was a little stagnant. I mean, it didn't really respond the way I thought it would. But earlier, I thought that the 10 o'clock news would have given the dollar momentum to move upwards, and we would have been selling off this morning. And it seems like the news didn't phase it at all, and it ran up, reached the highs it was looking for, and then the afternoon responded to the 10 o'clock news, which is uh, not what I was expecting. But then again, the market makers are out here to confuse us. Let's see if we can't get this high swept. But I did notice that there was the pairs weren't correlated. The indices weren't correlated with the dollar this morning. They weren't moving the way they should have. And that's why I wasn't particularly interested in jumping in a bunch of trades. So I, for the most part, just watched price action today and just called out what I saw and where I thought things were going to go. But There wasn't a lot of trades to take today. Okay. Okay, let's shift this down since we didn't get a break of the high, and now we have a lower swing high. Okay, those equal lows that I talked about on the 4-hour, those were swept as well. That was at 964, 964 even. Two lows. All right. Welcome back, Chris. Welcome back. Yeah, I know you were in, got stopped out, and then price ran for 100-point drop. Okay. This orange line, I think I drew this yesterday. I'm trying to remember, why did I draw it? No idea why I marked up 936. I have to go back to the live stream from yesterday and see why I marked that there, but looks like we're headed for it. Okay, I get it now. So yesterday when I was looking, I did a Fibonacci for the morning session at the start at 10 o'clock from whatever the daily low was up until the the 930, whatever high came out of the opening range. And then I was looking for a retracement to 78%, which didn't occur yesterday. So that's why I had this level marked up. So let me get rid of it. Excuse me. Oh man, equal lows 16,918. Okay. Well, Jeffrey only wanted to go to 16,925. So all right, Jeffrey, do you have a limit to take you out of the trade, or is that just kind of an area where you want to close it manually? When you called out earlier, 16,925.75. Yeah, man. Don't let FOMO kill you. There's always another trading day. But be excited about future trading days, because these are the kind of things that can happen. And when you're on the right side, it can, I mean, that can be the one trade you take for the week. Okay. TP with limit orders. All right, sweet. TP hit. Jeffrey, you got anything left? You got another runner out there, or did you close your entire trade? Closing my short. All right, Bond, you got it as well. Congratulations. All right, mathematical genius. What'd you say? Equal lows 918. Where did we reach to? 913 and a quarter. All right, let's get up on a higher time frame and see where are we headed. All right, so we're on 15. So we're at yesterday's new day opening gap. Well, 2 days ago, the 20th. No, I guess that is yesterday. Yeah, so that's yesterday's new day opening gap. Went all the way through it. Let's see, did we eclipse this low? I think we did. Yep, that one's gone. Oh man, up next. What's up next? All right, so we have a swing low here. We have a bullish fair value gap that's right here. Oops. And then we have another one right here. Let's make sure we put 15 on this, just so we know where it came from. Okay, this one doesn't matter. It's already been overtaken. Okay. All right, so while we know where we are on the 15-minute, let me just show you on the daily. Okay, that's a little ugly. Get rid of some of those graphics. All right, so on the daily chart, we can see there's a fair value gap right here. That we're at the very low extreme of it at the top of this wick. So there's still 2 hours for the rest of the day. Let's see if we get a reaction, a positive reaction, so we end up with a wick here, but price returns up and closes in here for the rest of the day, or if it just continues to push. And if it continues to push, then yeah, we might be on for a bullish week. But let's not get that far. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But for right now, it's inside of the daily bullish fair value gap, fully enclosed it. And we even saw on the 15-minute that it's also in the same area. Oops. There we go. Okay, so I started out the session by letting everyone know that I won't be able to stay until 4 o'clock today. I will have to cut the session short. I mentioned I would have to cut it at 3 o'clock, but I'll probably have to leave just a couple minutes earlier than that. I really have something I need to take care of. So I'll be on for just a couple more minutes, and then I'll have to call the session short today. Tomorrow, don't worry, tomorrow we'll be back for a full 3-hour session from 1 to 4 in the afternoon, and a 2-hour session in the morning from 10 to 12. But yeah, I will have to leave in just another minute or so. And prices continuing to push down. Let's get rid of this fair value gap since right now it doesn't seem to care about that. Okay, the new week opening gap. We're getting back to Sunday open. 16,818. Wow. Last 15 minutes, 100 points. Yep, 218 this afternoon. Absolutely. We thought that news this morning would have brought some fireworks, and yeah, it did nothing. And it waited till an hour ago, and then everything happened. So that's trading for you. That is trading for you. It's on its own schedule. Here's the 5-minute. We see quite a sizable rejection there. We take a peek at the 15 and see if that fair value gap is going to survive. It still has 5 minutes left, but this retracement has, for the most part, left that fair value gap open, so it may still be relevant for the rest of the day. But again, I want to thank everyone for being here. And if you haven't already, like the video. Make sure YouTube pushes us and promotes us to other traders, and also subscribe so you can get the invitations and we can continue to grow the community. And I'll see you once again. To everyone who has been coming back daily, or at least a couple times a week, I really do appreciate your participation and appreciate your support. Thank you for being here. And on that note, I will close the feed for today. I missed out on all the trades. For those who caught them, congratulations, Jeffrey in particular. It seems like you was in at the beginning and you wrote it down for over 100 points. So good job. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. See you then.